All right, here's our second set of problems to work with. So this time I have 1 and 6/10 divided by 400. So I want you to think about how is this problem different and what are you going to do to solve this problem. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is still rewrite this problem as a fraction. Once you've done that, it will look just like this, 1 and 6/10 over 400. So now think about how is this problem different than the last one and what might I change a little bit in order to solve this problem. Okay, before we had a decimal number on the bottom that was a tenths place, and then we had a tenths place on the top. But now I have hundredths on the bottom. So that means instead of multiplying by 10, I need to multiply by 100 because I want to get rid of this decimal, and the 4 is in the hundredths place, so that's what I have to do. So that means that 100 is on my bottom, 100 is my denominator, that means 100 is also going to be my numerator. Now I just multiply straight across. 4 hundredths times 100 is 4, and 1 and 6/10 times 100 is 160 because there's a 0 here, so that would be read as 160 hundredths basically. So now I'm just going to divide 160 divided by 4, and I can use a faster trick looking at my 16. What is 16 divided by 4? And then just add a 0 on. So 16 divided by 4 is 4, and then add my 0 right here. Kind of like multiplying with numbers that end in a 0. So the answer to this problem, 1 and 6/10 divided by 4 hundredths, is 40. Okay, for the next one, I'm changing my number a little bit more. 1 and 68 hundredths divided by 4 hundredths. So what are you going to do first to solve this problem? Rewrite it as a fraction. So let's do that. I have 1 and 68 hundredths over 4 hundredths. So this problem again has numbers that end in the hundredths place. When we did this problem just a minute ago, this was in the hundredths place and this was in the tenths place, but because this was in the hundredths place, that's why I had to multiply, even though that was just a number that ended in the tenths place. So with this one, again, we're going to be multiplying by the hundredths place because this is in the hundredths place and so is this one. So I'm going to get rid of those decimals. I'm going to multiply by 100 over 100, and 100 divided by 100 is just 1. So I'm just finding an equivalent fraction again. So 4 hundredths times 100 is 4, and 1 and 68 hundredths times 100 is 168. You can think about this like how many hundredths are in 4 hundredths, how many hundredths are in 1 and 68 hundredths. So then that brings my problem to be 168 divided by 4, and I can still use a fast division trick, a quicker division trick to solve this problem. So I'm going to look at my first two digits and I see that 16 can be divided by 4 easily, that's a fast fact, and 8 can be divided by 4. So I don't even have to break out my long division. I can do this really in my head as long as I know my 4 facts. So 16 divided by 4 is 4, and then 8 divided by 4 is 2. So your answer is 42. Okay, last problem. 1 and 68 hundredths divided by 12 hundredths. What are you going to do first to set up this problem? Rewrite it as a fraction. So it looks like this, 1 and 68 hundredths over 12 hundredths divided by 12 hundredths. What can you do to get rid of the decimal? Both of these numbers are in the hundredths place, so I'm going to multiply it by 100. When I do that, 12, I'm really just seeing how many hundredths are in 12 hundredths, how many hundredths are in 1 and 68 hundredths. And we just did this one, so we know that that's 168 again. And this time 12 times 12 hundredths times 100 is 12. So now I have a problem. I can't do this in my head. So what I'm going to have to do is divide. And 168 divided by 12, that's the same thing I have here. This really just means divided by. And then I'm going to do some long division to solve this. So 12 can't go into 1. Can 12 go into 16? Yes. How many times? 1 time. 1 times 12 is 12. Then I'm going to subtract that. And 16 minus 12, or 6 minus 2 is 4. 1 minus 1 is nothing. So I get 4. And then I need to bring down my 8. That becomes 48. And this is a fast fact. I know that 12 goes into 48 4 times, and it goes in evenly. So I'm done. So my answer is 14. One quick point is I want you to think about if a number was in the thousandths place in either the top or the bottom, you would just multiply it by 1,000. So you're looking at whatever the smallest place is in your problem, and you want to get rid of that fraction or get rid of that decimal. So you're going to multiply by that in order to get whole numbers that are a lot easier to deal with.